Hi buddies, Punarvas Jaikumar here from Advait Learning. How are you all? So guys, today I am coming out with a very interesting topic, that is FCRA, Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. Sir, why should I know all this? Because buddies, it is there in CA, CS, CMA and all the levels and all the professional examination, it's there. And more importantly, it's very important for us to know the history of our country. Always remember, events in history is not the events of the past. They are actually a mirror or a guidance for the future. It will help us understand what we were, what we are, and what we will be. So without further ado, I have an exciting session lined up for you about the history of Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. In CA, it comes for around 6 marks. CS also and CMA as well. It's very important. And even for general knowledge, you need to know the history about FCRA. Lot of money comes from abroad to India. Now I cannot prohibit that because foreign money into India is very important. But can I regulate the same? The answer is yes. But buddies, this dates back way back to October 1956, as you can see on screen. So I'll take you to October 1956 to understand what really happened that time. So what exactly happened during that time? And then we will move across 1950, we'll rewind ourselves to 1950, then come to 1960, 70, then 70, 75, 76, 2014, 2016, so many changes. So you would really find it very interesting. Without further ado, let's go ahead. So guys, in 1956, right? So this is how we are going to do it. You had the Soviet Union, that is the USSR. Now Soviet Union had amazing soldiers, very strong soldiers, and they had that zeal to go and attack any country. So in 1956, Soviet Union, that is USSR, attacked the country of Hungary and they wanted to take over the country. It was a tumultuous time across the world, and even for India, we just had gotten our independence and we just were away from the clutches of the British. The entire world actually criticized this action of the Soviet Union against Hungary. But our Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, was very silent about this issue. So it got them thinking, what is this? Is Jawaharlal Nehru a friend of the USSR? And the answer was yes. Before I start this entire session, let me tell you that this is not a political discussion. This is not a religious discussion. This discussion is just to give a mirror as to what happened in the past. These are facts. This is collected from various sources. I took a lot of time for me to research and I wanted to present it to you in a very easy way. You will never forget a law if you understand where it came from, right? So that is the reason why I've come out with this video. So back to 1956, what happened? It was friendship between USSR and Nehru. Because of his stoic silence, he was not even speaking. Entire part of the world was blaming Soviet Union, but Nehru was silent. There is one country in the world, when everything is right also they want to interfere. When everything is wrong also they want to interfere. They want to put themselves in every situation. And that, my dear friends, is the United States of America. So seeing this relationship between, or a camaraderie between Nehru and USSR, someone got insecure, and that was USA. USA felt that something was amiss, and they said, now anyway, UK, the British had invaded India, they had gone out, but now the USA thought, okay, let me see what is happening. They already were jittery little. At the same time, just around 2 weeks later, buddies, just 2-3 weeks later, Britain, France, and Israel joined hands, made a tripartite agreement, and attacked Egypt. And this is popularly called as the Suez Canal attack. The idea was to regain control of Egypt and throw the king there, Gamal Abdul Nasir. They wanted to throw him out. Now because of USSR now, and again, who interferes? USA. Because of USSR and USA, they interfered in this also. And eventually, these three people lost their ground, and Abdul Nasir, it was a victory for Abdul Nasir. It was a huge slap for UK. And you know what happened? Already there were some, doubts in the minds of the British, in the minds of the US against whom? Against India. Now, when this entire thing happened, when the Suez Canal attack happened, the first person to criticize Britain, France, Israel, and in support of Mr. Abdul Nazir was again Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. He was vocal in his criticism. He said, this is against democracy. How can you do this? How can you do that? Same thing when it happened to Hungary, he was silent. Now, this made USA really insecure. And this clearly showed that USSR and India, there was a very, very strong chemistry or a camaraderie between them. Then USA realized that this is the time now to send spies to India. And that technical term is called espionage. So they said, let us now indulge in espionage. I am going to send spies into India and see what the hell is happening. I told you, USA, there's always job is to interfere, always. They interfered in the Vietnam War also. I will cover that in FEMA. In my FEMA video, almost 2 hours, I'm going to talk about the history of FEMA. In that, USA again interfered between North Vietnam and South Vietnam. They simply created a rift between two brethren. They fought for so many years. And the Vietnam War was a watershed moment in the history of the world. It was a slap on USA after they lost the war. And eventually North Vietnamese and South Vietnamese became friends, became brothers, became family. And today Vietnam is, a very happy and peaceful place. And again, USA interfered there. So USA's job only is that, interfere everywhere, right? So that's the thing. Because they are a global superpower. USSR on the other hand, now Russia on the other hand, always are at the background, trying to see what is going on. They are very, very shrewd, right? Vladimir Putin. Now, the same can't be told about our, USA. Now, what happened, guys? Very simple. Now, this all happened in 1956. Now, two agencies started sending their spies to India. One was CIA, Central Intelligence Agency of USA, and then the Soviet Union's agency, very, very secretive, very, very ruthless, very, very dangerous agency called KGB. So CIA and KGB both together started sending spies, corporate espionage, normal espionage, all sorts of espionage into our country. This what happened in 1956. Now let us slowly rewind to 1950. All this is done. Let us slowly rewind to 1950. In 1950, I'm rewinding. I'm in 1956. I'm rewinding back to 1950. In 1950, in Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's cabinet, there was a young, dashing, dynamic minister who really was about to lay down his life also for Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and the Congress. His name was Shyam Prakash Mukherjee. Now, as I told you, history is not the events of the past, but the guidance for the future. This man, Shyam Prakash Mukherjee, has an important role to play in the scheme of things. So what happened? Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and the Pakistani Prime Minister at that time, Liaquat, they entered into an agreement called the Nehru-Liaquat Agreement. This was predominantly due to, the tensions that were happening at the Indo-Pak border. So the concept of NRC, NRC, it's not Nomination and Remuneration Committee, it is the National Registry of Citizens. The NRC actually came into being that time itself, where they said, Indians, you should have a register with all the citizenship. Pakistanis also had to have the same thing. In the border between India and Pakistan, way back in 1950 only, the concept of NRC came, which has now led in 2019 to CAA, Citizenship Amendment Act. So much drama, so much hangama happened during CAA, if you remember. The seeds of CAA was sown way back in 1950, buddies. So India, Pakistan, what was this Nehru-Liaquat Accord or Nehru-Liaquat Agreement was? The minorities living in Pakistan, that is the Hindus living in Pakistan, and the Muslims living in India, not across India, buddies, just on the fringes, just on the Indo-Pak border. And parallelly, the tensions also were going on between 1947 and 1950, tensions in Kashmir. Kashmir area, even till today, there is an issue going on, right? Despite the abrogation of Article 370. Got it? So now there was tension between these two. So the minorities had to be protected. So the main intention of the Nehru-Liaquat Accord was minorities had to be protected, because along the border there were a lot of murders happening, lot of rapes happening, many things were happening, and they used to just go beat up the minorities, right? The Muslims in India were beaten up, the Hindus in Pakistan were beaten up. So this was a lot of problems. So Nehru said peace accord. So we should ensure that we should give them rights and duties. Now, this was happening, they had to put an end to this. Shyam Prakash Mukherjee wanted peace, but not in that way. He said that this accord may give peace, but he had an ideology that Hindustan is Hindustan. It is made of Hindus. It is a country of Hindus. Minority must always be a minority, is what he told. I again repeat, this video is not to invoke or incite any rebellion, incite any religious, beliefs, or incite any religious intolerance, whatever it is. No, I am just telling you what happened, right? So what happened? So he said, no, minority is minority. That's it. It cannot be mixed. You cannot have any peace between them. This is Hindustan, that is Pakistan. When the partition happened, Muslims had to go there. Hindus had to stay here. I can't help it. Minority must be minority. So, agitated, he left the Nehru cabinet. He said, I am not going to stand with a man whose ideology I don't meet. See, during that time, people had ideologies, and if ideological differences, they left. Not like now. Now, BJP, if it comes to power, Congress fellow will jump to BJP. Congress, if it comes to power, BJP fellow will jump to Congress. Where is the ideology there? Ideological shift in 2 days with some money, horse trading. Right? Karnataka is known for that, horse trading. It's called horse trading. It should have been donkey trading. Anyway, leave that. So, why disrespect donkeys, right? Right. All right. So, basically, buddies, what happened was, this is what happened. So, Shyam Prakash Mukherjee said, boss, this is not what I want. This is not my ideology. I'm going to leave your cabinet. So, he exited that particular association and started building something which led to the birth of something else. He started the Bharatiya Jana Sangh with the backing of RSS, which later, buddies, went on to become the Bharatiya Janata Party, right? So the seats of BJP were sown by Shyam Prakash Mukherjee, who is widely considered as one of the founding members of the same. There are other members as well, but yes, with the backing of RSS, of course. Now, this happened where, buddies? In 1950. So first I took you to 1956, then we rewinded to what? 1950. Then what happened? New things are happening. We should always be abreast of the changes. Got it? So this happened, right? Now, I'll show you more. I'll be discussing many things, buddies, in the slides to come. Now, Hinduism versus Hindutva debate came into being. So what is Hinduism? Hinduism is peaceful coexistence, tolerance, secularism, right? Economic coexistence, helping the poor, helping the needy. There's a very thin line of difference between Hinduism and Hindutva. Hinduism is peaceful coexistence with all the people of other religion as well. Secular. Hindutva, on the other hand, is the extreme form of Hinduism, where they say, this is the land of the Hindus, others are not welcome. If others are not welcome, they should get out. If they don't get out, they should actually see the way of the land, and whatever the law of the land is there, law of the Hindus, they need to follow. This is bordering on other Islamic countries like Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, where the Islamic law exists. Other people just have to adjust to the same. Hindutva, Hinduism debate, if we go with it, you and I will start a fight, because my opinion may be different, your opinions may be different. It is very valid. Your opinions are valid and even mine are valid. So let's not go into that debate. But this is the entire birth of Hinduism versus Hindutva. The confusion started way back in 1950, right? So Hinduism is a concept, Hindutva is a concept. Now what to follow, what not to follow? Lot of debates used to happen in 1950. How is it related to FCRA? Let us connect everything. This is a beautiful, overall view, bird's eye view of the entire scene. Now I discussed all these things. We are going back now. Now, what happened? The CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, and KGB. They said, now we are coming back, guys. We are coming back to the 1950s and 60s. 1956 over, 1950 we went, now we are coming back to 1960 and 70. You needed to know the history why Shyam Prasad Mukherjee went and started this, and then why Congress came. That is very, very essential for this discussion. And then 1956, all the other things happened, that USSR, so they started sending spies. So these two guys, beautiful, how they infiltrated our country through newspapers. That time TV and all was not there. It was just for the rich only, not for the poor people. You know, even as late as even 1980s also, TV was only for the rich. I remember my dad telling that when India won the World Cup in 83, he went to the richest person's house in his particular town where he stayed. And he went and they were standing outside the house and watching the cricket match. That was only for the rich. My dad could not afford that time, right? So this is what happened. Now, these guys, CIA and KGB, what did they do? They infiltrated through newspapers. And they started magazines called Quest. That's the name of the magazine. Encounter was the name of the magazine. Imprint was the name of the magazine. So they started all these magazines. And what did they do? They started pumping money into India. How? They started selling the newspapers for just 1 rupee, but they showed in the books that it was actually 10 rupees, 20 rupees. And they showed, instead of showing just 100 sales that happened, they showed that they made 5,000 sales. That time it was all paper accounting. There was no, computers and all that. Guys, I'm talking about 1960s. So that time it was easy for them to smuggle money into India. They started pumping money into India. And where did they start pumping money? Into political parties. The USA was alleged that they supported BJP. KGB, it was alleged that the KGB supported Congress. By widespread corruption, by buying out political parties, by buying out politicians, the USA and KGB again interfered. After the British rule, we again were invaded by these two people. And it is a fact, buddies, it's a fact. All this has been revealed by KGB agents who could not stand silent after a long time. It was also revealed by Mr. Vikram Sood. He was a RAW agent, Research and Analysis Wing, RAW of India. It was revealed by him in his book as well, saying that there were a lot of dealings that were happening that time, right? And we as Indians should know our history, okay? Lot of money, everything pumped into our country. That is what happened during that time. Now, by the end of 1960, in the early 1970, the KGB's influence was so much so that my country, your country, was governed and controlled by KGB. It's a fact of life, it's true, right? Whether we like it or not, believe it or not, it's the fact of life. Money was being pumped in to buy parliamentarians, was to buy the cabinet, politicians, everybody. In 1970, there was a lioness who was leading our country, and that lioness was Srimati Indira Gandhi. She was a fascinating character, just like her father, but she was ruthless, aggressive. She wanted power at any cost. There are a couple of interviews you can check online on YouTube. My God, the way she speaks, amazing. Right? Even though she lost the election later, I'm telling you that the way she told, the confidence with which she used to speak, used to rattle the opposition. Right? So now, Srimati Indira Gandhi, it was alleged that KGB owned Indira Gandhi. There are instances by a KGB agent who later wrote in his memoir that suitcases and suitcases of cash were directly pumped, directly they went to the parliament, went to Indira Gandhi's office, Indira Gandhi's house, and gave cash. And her code name by the Russians, they had kept it as Vano. Vano was her code name. So predominantly India, entire country was bought and controlled by KGB. And CIA slowly started losing their power. It was a confidential deal. It has been recorded. There are excerpts. There are redacted statements, redacted documents which are in my possession actually, which I found online, where they say that Vano, 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 code word, confidential, right? So this was what the KGB did. This is the scene. Now, what happened? Basically, money was pumped in to buy votes. Money was pumped in to rig the voting machines. Money was pumped in to buy politicians, judges, unfortunately, to give the decision in favor of the government, to give cartoonists and artisans, because they are the public eye. When an artist draws a cartoon, whether it's favoring the government or not, basically if he's a very, very famous cartoonist, whatever he draws, people will see and get influenced. So money was given to cartoonists, money was given to newspaper editors, money was pumped in left, right and center. And this was the time, right? At the same time, CIA also started pumping money, and the allegation was CIA was supporting the BJP government, and BJP as such the party, and the USSR or now KGB was now supporting Vano, that is Srimati Indira Gandhi. Now at this time, one thing happened in 1975-76, that was the emergency. That was the darkest phase in Indian history, post-independence. In emergency, Srimati Indira Gandhi got so hysterical and so insecure. Regarding emergency, there is a separate video, I mean not on YouTube, but I tell it in my class. I will connect everything in FEMA. All these laws are so beautiful, man. You just have to understand the history behind it. Beautiful laws, beautiful, wonderful, right? So I have explained emergency in detail in FEMA. So FEMA introduction video is almost a couple of hours. So there I've explained in depth. Now I'll just, cut short, right? Because we have to actually understand the FCRA part later. In emergency, there was basically everything stopped. Now we are talking about corona, you have to go out to wear a mask and all those things. That time if you went outside and if you are an opposition party leader, you will be arrested. If you are a person who is telling anything against the government, you would be arrested. Emergency was, in short, dictatorship. There was a saying that time in 1975-76 that Adolf Hitler was reborn as Srimati Indira Gandhi in India, right? She got so insecure with the CIA and everybody, trying to take over her leadership that she said emergency, right? She forced it upon the president, and then emergency was declared in India. National emergency. It was the darkest phases of Indian history, where KGB was supporting Congress and CIA was supporting BJP, as I told you, and emergency was imposed. This was in 75-76, and Indira Gandhi, as I said, is the darkest phase, did not want money to go into the hands of BJP and other parties. So she jailed left, right and center, the opposition party leaders. Then strict police force was enforced across the country. It was like you are in your country, but you are in a jail. And that, my dear friends, led to the birth of FCRA in 1976, when she observed that CIA was donating a lot of money and that had to be curbed. Especially BJP, that had to be curbed. So what was born? Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. She didn't say prohibition. Why prohibition is not there? Because the Congress government and the other thing needed money. But the BJP government and the other BJP party and the other parties should not get money. So Foreign Contribution Regulation Act 1976 was born. This is not a video against Congress. You will see I will bash BJP also. This is not a bashing session at all. Let me rephrase. It is just history. Wonderful history, guidance for the future. I have got nothing against Congress. Those of you who know me, I have got nothing against Congress, nothing against BJP, nothing for Congress, nothing for BJP. This is an objective assessment of what happened in your country and my country. Buddies, it's our country. So this is what happened and how the law was born, right? So FCRA was born in 1976, where they said foreign source, anything from the foreign source any money coming from foreign sources prohibited unless it is registered. So what happened? She started granting licenses to companies, to organizations, to NGOs. Only if you have a license, you can take money from a foreign source. If you don't have a license, it is gone. So when free flow of money was coming from CIA, everything stopped. But the Congress government gave licenses left, right and center to all the companies supporting the Congress. So money still came from KGB. Money still came from KGB. Left, right and center it came, right? But it came only to companies which were owned, controlled, governed by the Congress government. This is what happened. Lifetime licenses, not that licenses of 1 year, 2 year, lifetime. So see the amount of money that came inside. So this was why FCRA was once, because they said any money from foreign source has to be prohibited unless a license is given. License is given to my known companies. License is not given to companies which I know CIA operate. So all that money from outside stopped coming, unfortunately, for the BJP. This happened, it was an infinite loop. This is what happened. Now the CIA gone, nothing can be done, right? Now, because of this, whatever she created, the sense of emergency, people got tired. But at the same time, Sanjay Gandhi also introduced this forced vasectomy, where the men had to undergo a forceful vasectomy under incompetent doctors that time, which led to a lot of infections and all those things. And it was more like jail. I speak to my mom, dad, my grandmom, they tell me it was more like a jail. When I tell, oh, corona, I have to sit at home, they're like, what corona? You did not live, you were not there at the time of emergency. That was the darkest phase, and people really said it is enough of Srimati Indira Gandhi. I have had enough, and she lost the ensuing election. Emergency was lifted obviously because of democracy, and she lost the election, horribly lost the election, and the people of India got their freedom. And that time Janata Party was born, and Janata Party, the people embraced Janata Party. As the name suggests, this is the party of the people. And the Prime Minister that time, obviously after embracing, was Morarji Desai. But unfortunately, suddenly when there is freedom thrown at you, you probably are unable to handle the freedom. So Morarji Desai's government, though he was good, Morarji Desai's government was incompetent. It could not win. The confidence of Srimati Indira Gandhi, she said, what is this now? I am going to come back again. At this point of time, she went abroad, and there was an interview. Just do a YouTube search, Indira Gandhi interview by UK, by BBC, I think it's BBC. That guy is asking some tough questions, and this lady, without batting an eyelid, the way she retorts, it's amazing. You should see the level of confidence after losing the election. She said, no, I have not done anything wrong. I have done something which to protect my country. And I know that I'm going to come, win the case, and going to win the election next time. And she bloody won the election. That's why she's called as the Iron Lady, the lioness of the country, despite all the shortcomings. So if you watch that video, we'll come to know what I'm talking about, right? There was an incompetent government, and FCRA still continued, right? So she came back and enforced FCRA again. So 1976 it was there, then she came back again 1978-ish, and again she enforced FCRA. It was going on. Morarji Desai's Janata Party collapsed miserably. So this is what FCRA, the beginning. You know, Bahubali beginning, Bahubali conclusion. This was FCRA, the beginning. Now we have to go for what? FCRA conclusion. Between 1970, sir, FCRA as per the syllabus, it's FCRA 2010. From that time you are telling 1976. What is your issue, sir? What is the problem? What are you saying? I'll come to it. Between 1976 to 2010, forget about 1976 to 2010, 1976 to now, 2021, we also need to understand a couple of other things that happen in our country. Couple of other things, right? So Bahubali beginning over, FCRA beginning. Now we'll go to FCRA, the conclusion, right? Let's do it, friends. Now, very interesting. All this we have discussed, all that. Now, way back, you know, at the time of independence, there was this NRC onset 1950, Hinduism, Hindutva, and all those things. Minority needed protection. That's why the Liaquat Accord came. Even in India, the FERA regulations was brought in 1970s, where they regulated foreign exchange. All the Nehru's friends stayed back in India. If you see till today in FEMA, I discussed this in FEMA, there are many of those provisions that were inserted way back that time to help Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's friends who stayed back in India after the British rule. They didn't want to move out. They stayed back in India. If you see many Christian colleges across India, even in Bangalore we have so many colleges. If you have observed, the Christian colleges have huge grounds. Their campus is huge. They may have a church also inside. They may have a spiritual center inside, whatever the case may be. How is it possible that Christian colleges have such huge grounds, whereas other colleges will have some playground, will have garden? What is garden? Some 4 flower pots, that only is the garden. And the playground, before it starts only, it ends, right? So that Munna Bhai MBBS dialogue is there, no? Before starting only the room is ending, right? It's like that. So why? Again, 1947, because of the Nehru government and Nehru's insistence, he said, let us create a covenant. A covenant is a benefit also, a covenant is a restriction. They said the government allotted lands, huge lands to Christian missionaries. And they said, ultimately, there was also a benefit here. What's the benefit? English education has to be propagated across the country. The life expectancy at that age, at 1947, was 27. The GDP was 0.001% of the world GDP, if you think about it in the largest scheme of things. The British had carefully, successfully looted our country and completely demoralized an entire population, and it had razed it to the ground with absolutely no hope of any revival. The only thing that would help in revival also would be the education. So Nehru wanted the Christian missionaries to come and start their schools and colleges. So education was given importance. Religion also, as being a secular country, as was enshrined in the constitution, which was happening around the same time in 50s and 56, they said, you can have your church inside the school, it's okay, you can have a school, I'll give you grounds, I'll give you the land at dirt cheap rates. That is a benefit, but the restriction is you have to use it only for your slight religious purposes, or also, and of course, education. Many schools, colleges mushroomed into it. With it, unfortunately, started the culture or the dangerous practice of proselytization. Sir, what is this, sir? Some Shashi Tharoor is coming and you're talking all nonsense English. Okay, sorry. Proselytization, in simple words, is conversion. Christian missionaries started using those funds which they got from abroad, started using the lands that they had, started using the control they had over the masses. Unfortunately, they took it into conversion. In schools and colleges, they started converting people. Guys, again, I have nothing against any religion, right? Religion is something, there is a difference between religion and spirituality. We can have a discussion some other day. Religion is something that you need to embrace. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, despite being from a backward community, embraced the livelihood of and embraced the culture of Buddhism, and he became a Buddhist. You need to embrace the culture which you feel that you want to take up. For instance, when I go to a temple, I generally don't like temples with many people. So for me, I don't get that peace of mind. So when I go to a temple with a lot of people, I don't get that peace of mind. But when I go to, for example, Hampi, in Hampi, those many temples are there, and actually people don't come there so much. It's quite peaceful. When I go to Hampi, I get a very nice sense of calm. Similarly, you would have gone to churches. When I go to a church, in that eerie silence, when you just sit down, there's a lot of positive vibes actually, for me. Some people find it scary, but I feel it very nice positive vibes. At the same time, if I go to a church on a Sunday when mass is going on, I would not like it. So religion is something that you need to embrace. It cannot be thrust upon you. Don't you think so? But these people, they didn't thrust upon that. They carefully used the ignorance, illiteracy, and social stigma associated with the lower castes, and slowly started converting them to Christianity. There are stories, so many stories, I know so many stories, right? This was happening, right? For example, there was this guy, you can Google him, he's called Rarara Baba. I'm not kidding, Rarara Baba. I think his father, Sebastian Martin or something. This guy is a chartered accountant. He's a chartered accountant. So he used to do these videos where there was one CD Baba, take one DVD near the stomach, that lady will come and tell, I've been having stomach pain since 10 days. This fellow put the DVD there and then he'll do some all mantra, Om, Jum, Jum, Nam, that he'll do something. And then what happens? Suddenly the pain vanish, right? And this guy, Father Sebastian, so he used to do the same thing. This lady used to come and tell, I have kidney issues. So he was a kidney, miracle worker. He used to just take the kidney and used to tell, ra, 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 ra. You see the video, it's hilarious, hilarious. And then suddenly she used to shake, vibrate, everything. She used to roll on the ground and then suddenly cured. The best part was the same lady was in some other fellow's video, right? Hilarious. What goes around comes around. 2-3 years ago, Rarara Baba was found dead in his house, unfortunately. And the reason was kidney failure. The same guy who apparently cured so many people ended up this. I have nothing against Christianity, guys. Please do not mistake me. This is the truth. You also know, I also know it. There are many, I'm not saying even the Hindus, even Islam, everywhere there is conversion, right? You see our Nityananda Swamiji, spiritual guru, right? So I am fascinated by this. I want to know what it is. And you should watch a movie. It's called Trance. In this they have shown how they convert people. Beautiful movie, Trance. Watch it. Malayalam movie. Fahad Fazil. Don't miss it. So in that beautifully they say, so it's just your blind faith. You're just blind faith. So there in that movie there is one kid who says that, there's a person whose kid is dying. So his father says, just use this oil, nothing will happen to her. Instead of taking her to the doctor, he uses that oil and eventually that kid dies. That's how it is. But there is also a power. That's the movie Trance. There's also a power, guys, when you see. Like for example, like I said, I don't like going to crowded places. But many thousands and thousands of devotees go to Tirupati temple. And in that crowd, in that 1 second, when they see that sanctum sanctorum, when they see the God, when they see the idol, they get they're in a trance, right? It's as if they're in a different world. I have visited many spiritual gurus to understand whether this phenomenon exists. I went to Sadhguru, I went to Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, I want to go to Nityananda, that fellow ran away. But these people, there is a trance, there is a spiritual power involved. So when you go there, when you make eye contact with them, you actually go to a different level. When I went to the spiritual session just out of curiosity, I saw many people started crying just like that. There is a trance, they get into a trance and it's real, I've seen it. So the same thing even the Christian mission is all that. They get the people into a trance. When I was a kid, that's me there on the cycle, left here, this guy, right? Those are the good old days. We had that second-hand car, Fiat, right? My father, we were not very rich. My father was in the government service and I'm proud to say he was one of those very, very dedicated and very, very upright officers. So we saved up some money and bought a second-hand car. Actually, it was used twice, third hand. We bought one car, very happy. We gave party to everybody as if we bought a Mercedes-Benz that time. But it's okay, right? That car is very, very close to my heart. So we had our driver, I don't want to name him. So he was, of course, a Hindu. He was there. So he used to teach me this car. He was the one who, today I go for a lot of, road trips. Traveled lakhs of kilometers. I've been lucky to do so. It's because of that man, because he taught me driving, right? So my driver, Anna, so he used to come. He was a very, very nice man. And one day he came and he told my dad, sir, I want 2 days leave. My dad said, what happened? No, sir, in my village, these fellows have come and they're converting everybody, sir. I want to go and teach them a lesson. My dad said, please don't do all those nonsense things. If you want leave, you take. You go to your village and come, but don't do any things like that. He was a rowdy. I'm not kidding. It's good to be on his side. He was a rowdy, our driver, Anna. So, this guy went with all these machetes and all these knives, long, in Kannada they call it long. He went with all those things. So, and he went there. 2 days later, I was very excited. A small kid, very excited. So I came, Anna, what happened? How did you hit him? Tell me. I was imagining, Anna, bashing up everybody. My driver, Anna. So he came. And there was this visible change, I said, Anna, what happened? What did you hit? From today, my name is John Paul. Huh? I was like, you went there to hit him. And now you converted and came. Yes. He said, when I went there, something happened to me, and from today, I am John Paul. And today, John Paul Anna is a pastor. He has visited so many countries. He heals people. He has opened education institutions. I'm still in touch with him. Just recently only I spoke to him. Think about it. There are some people who embrace religion because of something that happens. There are some people who are forced into it, and some people who are influenced into it. And this proselytization is happening across the world, especially now in India. Poor people, they give him from 20,000, 30,000, convert to Christianity. Point number one. Point number two, that's proselytization for you. Point number two, how do you think Ajmal Kasab came to India wielding AK-47 guns when all the other people, unfortunately, our police people had lathi, had some guns, double barrel guns which never worked? How is it possible, buddies? It is because of terror funding. Lot of money from Islamic and other countries are, go into these through various modes, through various countries, foreign contribution without your knowledge, goes through various NGOs. So much money comes into India for conversion. Last 2 years ago, it was $1 billion came to India for conversion, believe it or not. And so much money comes into India and across for terrorism, terror funding, it's real. That's why we have your FATF, you have PMLA, so many things just to tighten the noose. How did Ajmal Kasab smuggle into India with AK-47, AK-56 rifles when our fellows are two-barrel gun and lathi? Think about it. Terror funding. So 1976 to 2021 now, we are still battling proselytization, still battling terrorism. And there is one more thing. That is why foreign contribution from foreign source has to be curbed. Has to be curbed. One more concept is called as foreign hospitality. Our ministers go abroad. They get everything free there. Recently, our Karnataka ministers went to Europe for a road study tour. They went with their families. When they came back, these reporters asked, what did you learn? We went to Disneyland. It was very nice. Like that they're talking on TV. They were sent to study the roads, infrastructure and come and implement here. All they did was go and spend time in Disneyland and other places. Like a trip they went and they have come. Foreign hospitality. Other countries give you hospitality like that. There was an Indian ambassador to the UK. Right? So, in India, when you see an elderly person, what will you do? You will touch their feet. Correct? Can an Indian ambassador to UK do that? When he saw Queen Elizabeth, as a mark of respect, he touched the feet. Tomorrow, the next day, newspapers flashed. Indian ambassador touching the feet of UK. Gone. You should understand what position you are in. During the World Cup, Virat Kohli and the entire team met, Queen Elizabeth. Imagine Virat Kohli, after seeing Queen Elizabeth, hey Dadi, hello Dadi, and then touching the feet. Tomorrow, the next day, news would have been splashed across. India falls at the feet of UK. Full stop. All over again. Will you take it? No. When you go abroad and you take the freebies that others give, you should do it really properly. Freebies. For example, there are many pharma companies across the world. I am a doctor. This happens. Not all doctors are like this. There are few doctors. There are many doctors like this. I am the greatest kidney transplant surgeon, right? They come to me. If you transplant kidney or liver, whatever it is, you need to be on lifelong medication. And that medication will be some 4,000, 5,000 rupees per month. So I successfully transplant, get a transplant for you, and then you come to me and say, sir, what medication? There is medication A, medication B. I know medication B is more effective, but I'll write medication A because that is lifelong. Medication B is also lifelong because the medication A pharma company had come to me the previous day and said, sir, please, all your patients, you please prescribe my medicine only. So I am a doctor. I just look at him and say, why should I do it? No, sir, you see, you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back, sir. So I'll say, I'm planning to go to South Africa with my family next month. I generally want to go for a 15-day trip and I only fly business class and I want to stay in the best 5-star hotels there. Thank you so much. That's it, over. This fellow understood. Tomorrow for his entire family tickets came. Foreign hospitality. You please come there, sir, we'll look after you. This law is there to curb foreign contribution, prohibit foreign contribution from a foreign source unless there is a license. Prohibit foreign contribution from a foreign source unless there is a license, and to restrict foreign hospitality. When a politician is going abroad, what should he behave? How much can he take free? If he takes free, how much he should report, what he should report, and all that. And when the money is coming from abroad, what is the thing that we need to follow? These are the things that came here. Now, going back, buddies, going back, did you understand? Going back to everything now. 1976 it happened, and in 2010 one more law came, Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. We'll speak about that. Between 2004 to 2010 and 2004 to 2012, many things happened. What happened? Example. There was a company called Vedanta PLC. It was a UK based company, right? And it was a UK based company. Recently you saw, no, Vedanta delisting also happened. Vedanta PLC, UK, PLC means private limited company, that's how they tell in UK, had two subsidiaries. One was Sterlite Industries and one more is Sesa Goa. Now between 2004 to 2010 and then again 2 years later, 2012 also actually, there were lot of things that were happening, and in FCRA 2010 also came because 1976 law was there. In 1976 Indira Gandhi had said lifetime licenses. In 2010 the government said no, lifetime not needed, 5 years will give, 5 years. This came in 2010. But something happened between 2004 and 2010. What happened? Obviously Vedanta PLC UK was a foreign source. Can you take money from a foreign source? No, because I told you in 1976, unless the license you cannot take. Here license was not there, it was dicey, and still left, right and center they were taking money. So if I open, for example, FCRA, the act, and I'll show you the definition of foreign source. If you see, it also includes a foreign company within the meaning of 591. Any company incorporated outside is called foreign company. And a company which is a subsidiary of a foreign company. Which company? Sterlite Industries and Sesa Goa are subsidiaries of a foreign company, Vedanta PLC. Got it? So that is also a foreign source, because foreign source includes, okay sir, I don't want this, let me come here only, let me come here. A company within the meaning of Companies Act 1956, if more than 1/2 of the nominal value of its share capital is held by citizens of a foreign country or corporations incorporated in a foreign country, gone. Sterlite Industries and Sesa Goa are companies within Indian Companies Act, but more than 51% of nominal value is held by Vedanta PLC, which is a corporation outside India, gone. This is a foreign source. 2004 to 2010, you aram se are taking money like this, right? How is it possible? You are taking money, right? So, why were they taking money? It was quid pro quo. 10 crore was given to Congress, 10 crore was given to BJP also during 2004 to 2010. Why? Why was it given? Quid pro quo. Very simple. It was because Vedanta was into bauxite mining. Bauxite mining in, Orissa. Orissa, there is this range, Niyamgiri Hills. So their entire range, bauxite mining licenses they wanted. In addition, obviously as a kickback, money came in through various sources. Sesa Goa also, iron ore mining was happening, right? So that's the reason why. Both the governments took, both are at fault. Congress and BJP took almost 20-30 crores in kickbacks. Political contributions they started giving. In the old Companies Act, political contributions were regulated up to 5% and all those things. We'll see that. So that's why in 2010 what they did, they suddenly got alerted and they cancelled the lifetime license, and they now said, I'm going to renew after every 5 years. They are going to renew after every 5 years. This is what they said. So after every 5 years there was a renewal. Okay, 2010, okay. But the question was, what happened between 2004 and 2010? You definitely, what did you do? Completely disregarded FCRA, and though Vedanta PLC was a foreign source, you started taking money. That is not done. You started taking money. That cannot and will not be tolerated. So as I told you guys, both BJP and Congress were in the wrong. And in early 2014, or let's say 2013, there was one party which definitely rose from nowhere. Of course, it was not BJP or Congress. I told you a new party. That was the Aam Aadmi Party. Anna Hazare's, agitation and all those things there gave rise to this party. And there was this person, an advocate, Supreme Court advocate, Prashant Bhushan, who took up this case against, this was in their portfolio, it was against BJP and Congress. And he started something called as the Association of Democratic Reforms, ADR. And he said, boss, very clearly, Vedanta, Sterlite, Sesagova have all contravened FCRA, and they have easily donated now to political parties. It is against FCRA, which had to be prohibited. 1976 Act is prohibited, till 2010, whatever it is, till 2004 to 2012, whatever they did has to go. They really committed this offense. So it went to the court. And very simple, he said, definitely it is a foreign source, because I showed you the act, it is a foreign source. A foreign company which is incorporated outside India, or any company which has more than 51%, it is a foreign source. So he proved it. He sued them. Sterlite Industries, Sesagova, both are foreign companies within the meaning of the Companies Act, and also a foreign source, and hence it is prohibited as per FCRA. This was as per section 591 of the old Companies Act. Right? So now, for the first time in the history of our country, Congress and BJP joined hands to fight against AAP and to fight against Prashant Bhushan and to fight this case. This case went up to the High Court first. These two people, we had the brilliance of, the cunningness of Chidambaram on one side, and the brilliance of Arun Jaitley on the other hand, late Shri Arun Jaitley. They came together, two dynamic lawyers, brilliant, coming together, and they took recourse to 379(2) of the Companies Act. What is 379(2)? Very simple. Where not less than 51% of the paid up share capital, this was inserted that time, where not less than 50% of the paid up share capital, whether equity or preference, of a foreign company. What is a foreign company? Company is outside India. Is held by one or more citizens of India, or by one or more companies or bodies incorporated in India, or by one or more citizens of India, or one or more companies. Such company shall comply with the provisions and such other provisions as may be prescribed with regard to business carried on in India, as if it were a company incorporated in India. Oh my God, what are they saying? Sir, Vedanta PLC is Indian company. Sterlite, Sesagova are both Indian companies. Indian companies, it will not apply only. What will not apply? What will not apply? FCRA will not apply. FCRA will not apply. Got it? FCRA will not apply at all. Dangerous. And they also took recourse to one more section. Show you that. In the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act of 2010, they took recourse to what? One dialogue here. See, section 3 is the section where it is prohibited, foreign contribution. I told you during the Indira Gandhi time, we were giving it to correspondent, judge, cartoonist, editor, owner, everyone, everything prohibited. But section 4 gives some relaxation, means you can actually give foreign contribution. And there, buddies, hidden somewhere, this was added. By remittance received in the ordinary course of business, Any authorized person, foreign exchange, if you follow FEMA, then you can actually give foreign contribution even if it is from a foreign source. So the brilliance of Arun Jaitley and Chidambaram, now they are saying that Vedanta, though it is foreign company, it is Indian company as per 379(2) of Companies Act. Plus they are giving money, and that money is through FEMA channels, it is accepted. Like that they pass this regulation. They pass this. Now the thing is very simple. The court said, do you think I'm a fool? If I open this particular law of, FCRA, even if I go to 1976, it says very clearly foreign company within the meaning of 591 and a company which is a subsidiary of a foreign company, and it also says here in 26E, C, it says any citizen of a foreign country or a corporation incorporated in a foreign country, if they control a company also, it is a foreign company, it's a foreign source. It is a foreign source as per FCRA, buddy. Who are you to tell? It is a foreign source as per FCRA. So they said nothing doing. Both of them, Vedanta, and they also proved, these fellows proved that in Vedanta more than 50% was held by Anil Agarwal, who was an Indian. So Anil Agarwal held more than 50% of shares in Vedanta, which means it's an Indian company as per 379. High Court said, I am not a fool. It is a foreign source as per FCRA. Both the parties were held guilty on May 28, 2018. It was a huge win for AAP. Chidambaram is sitting, Arun Jaitley is sitting. They're like, bro, what to do, bro? If you can't change the law, change the law. Got it? If you can't change the law, change the law only. Beautiful. What happened? Vedanta, what they were doing? They still analyzed. Vedanta created a public and political awareness trust, started collecting funds, started, helping both BJP and Congress. The best part of all this? From almost 1990 to 2004, one was that Anil Agarwal. Who was the other director on Vedanta? P. Chidambaram. When they themselves are involved so much, do you really think anything is going to happen to them, buddies? No. This was a jugalbandi between Congress and BJP. Unity in diversity, unity in ideology, even despite differences in ideology. Both of us have committed something, both of us will change it. Political and public and political awareness has started taking money. During that time, Chidambaram, since he was this finance minister, that time he gave lot of IT exemptions for mining, bauxite mining. I remember 80 RRA, 80 something, some section number, I don't remember. There were sunset clauses and all that. He planned it very beautifully and gave all the benefits to Vedanta, quid pro quo. And this started a Section 8 company also called Public and Political Awareness Trust to ensure money is collected to the political parties. As I told you, they were cornered, guys. Nothing can be done. When you can't do anything, it was government against government now. BJP against BJP. BJP, Congress together against this. What to do? They went to Supreme Court. Supreme Court also said, reject, gone. When there is no door, everything is closed. When the law puts its stamp of authority on you, what do? Cut the hand. So in the Finance Bill 2016, right, they did an amendment. What amendment? I told you, if you take anything from a RBI, so I'll tell you the sequence. 1976 done, 2004 done, 2010, 2012, 2014, 2016. This is very, very important. In 1976, Indira Gandhi inserted FCRA. 2004 to 2012, what happened? Vedanta scene happened. In 2010, FCRA amendment came with that 5 years license. But still, 2004 to 2010, all these things had happened. And 2010 to 2012 also it continued. 2014, BJP came to power. Let's go to 2016 later. In 2014, BJP came to power. They wanted more money. In 2013, Companies Act was passed. by the Congress government because of Sachin Pilot's pushing. And I've discussed this wonderful concept with managerial remuneration. You check out my other video on YouTube, how BJP won the election. It is there on YouTube. Please check how BJP won the election, linking it to managerial remuneration. I've explained that in depth. Please see it, right? So here it's there on YouTube. Please check it. Now what happened here, guys? 2012, 2014. In 2014, what change has happened? We'll discuss. So now the scene between 2004 and 12, this Vedanta thing was happening. Now, in 2014, Supreme Court said, get out. Nothing can be done. You're out. Both Congress and BJP were guilty. Now I have to do something for 2010 to 2016. What to do? What to do? In 2016, an amendment bill came where they said, I'll show you that, where they said this is what happened. Check it out. In Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, the following proviso shall be inserted and shall be deemed, to be inserted with effect from when? 2010. In 2016 they inserted, from 2010 it will be enforced, retrospective effect, that if I told you, if it goes through FEMA regulations, nominal value of share capital is within the limit specified for foreign investment in FEMA, notwithstanding the nominal value being more than one half of such value, such company shall not be a foreign source. Sterlite Industries, Sesagova is not a foreign source. Vedanta is not a foreign source. From where to where, buddies? Retrospective amendment from 2010 wiped out the Supreme Court judgment, wiped out High Court judgment. Are you getting my point? Retrospectively they are saying, whatever happened from 2010, ignore. When did this happen? 2016. Chidambaram calls up Jaitley, Macha, 2010 over, what about 2004 to 2010? Oh, correct, that also is there, no? Correct. Point number one. Point number two, Chidambaram says, Macha, we also have to wipe out our forefathers, whatever they have done. What about 1976 to 2004, bro? Oh yeah, I'll talk to you later, I'm busy now. We'll talk later, we'll discuss. Cut. Retrospectively 10 to 16, it's not foreign source. So whatever happened between 2010 to 2012 Vedanta, it is okay, damar, gone. No tension. But still 2004 to 10 is pending, no? 1976 to 2004 is pending, no? We'll see that. So now in 2017, finance bill, right? In 2014, political contribution, you could have taken up to around 5%. In 2017, a wonderful insertion. In the Finance Act only he changed, Finance Bill. He said, political contribution under section 182, 5% had become 7.5% in 2013. So he said 7.5% is no longer there. Any company can give any amount to any political party through the concept of electoral bonds. It is called the electoral bond scam. Scheme. Electoral bond scheme. More on this in my other video, how BJP won the election, linking it to managerial remuneration. Please watch it, you'll love it, right? Law is beautiful, guys. Wonderful it is. You just need to interconnect. Sir, how did you interconnect all these things, sir? I read a lot. That is my job. My job is to condense everything, interlink everything, compress everything and present it to you. Your job is to understand the history of your country, write law beautifully, become law, lovers of law, enthusiasts of law. It's not just company law, any law for that matter. Please start loving the subject, guys. CA will be like this. Got it? Now, what happened? You can donate any money. Damar, there, the floodgates open. Please donate money now. Come, one side. On the other side, in 2018, buddies, mistakes of the forefathers, bro, wipe it out. Yes, Macha, I'm going to wipe out. If you see, there was one more amendment. I'm going to show it to you. You will be amazed. This is the Finance Act 2018 amendment, buddies. One small kutti amendment. Kutti. In the Finance Act 2016, bro, that 2016, what in 2016 you told? Retrospectively from 2010, correct. But bro, before 2010 also we did no golmaal. 2004 to 2010 there was golmaal. 1976, Indira Madam, from there to here also golmaal. Let's wipe it clean. Sure, macha, tuck. See, in the Finance Act, in section 236, in the opening paragraph, for the words figures and letters, 26 September 2010, the words 5th August 1956 shall be substituted. Tamar, means what? All the forefathers' mistakes wiped clean with one damning amendment which came in 2018. This is the scene, buddies. This is the scene that has happened. So in this law, what all we have, buddies, foreign contribution, foreign hospitality, foreign source. That's all. Foreign contribution prohibited. In some cases it's allowed. Foreign hospitality regulated, and everything leads to a foreign source. In 2020 also, FCRA amendments have come, which is applicable for your examination, buddies, where they have defined the word public servant. Any money given to public servant also is counted. So it's a blanket ban on money received by government employees, your government arbitrators, government valuers, telecom authority, electricity authority, everything. There's a blanket ban on subgranting. Means if I receive money, I cannot donate it to somebody else. I only have to use it. And there's a cap on even administrative expenses. Earlier, administrative expenses was around 50%. You could have used the foreign money. Now only 20% you can use. And last but not the least, you should have only one FCRA account. If you are a company, you should have only one account, and that account has to be opened in SBI main branch in New Delhi. Only in that main branch you have to open an account. And from there you can transfer to other place. This is a centralization of entire power. So they have tightened the news. BJP and Congress together have tightened the news on FCRA after wiping off the mistakes of their forefathers and wiping their mistakes off very clean. This is a democracy of the people, by the people, and for the people. So I hope you loved or liked or whatever, understood. I really don't mind if you don't love it, don't like it, whatever it is, but I hope you understood the history of our country. This is our of the people. It's not a sarcastic comment, this is how it is. If you watch my other video, how BJP won the election, it's also the same about managerial remuneration. It is not against any party. It is just my pure observation after hours of research. So this is the video that I wanted to bring it to you guys. I hope you enjoyed. I loved doing this research for you. Please, FCRA will only come for 6 marks, but this history you will never forget, and you will never forget the provisions, I hope. On that note, buddies, thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe to my channel and like this video, and please, 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 I request, share this with a lot of people. It's for knowledge purposes only. So I hope you loved it, buddies. Thank you so much. Love you all. Take care.